I think Sonny was or Somi was kind of spot on that. I kind of agree with what Somi was saying, which was like it was almost just like a promissory, like, hey guys, I will put some of these SAC funds in, and just kind of like, for like, hey, still believe in me, guys, like I'm still here, maybe because I'm not streaming, and that's kind of how I took it, at least, because it wasn't a lot, it wasn't like it was tons. So yeah, maybe it was to get some of the whales out, I guess, but it just didn't seem like it was a ton in there.
Well, we still only
Yeah,
have
but if history has taught us anything, it is that I would say 8 out of 10 whales, they don't get out when there's a pump. They actually get down very close to new bottoms. I mean, we even have like prominent Mexicans who say they would never ever ever sell, and now it's like one by one we can see their wallets like dumping at no, fresh local bottoms. So if the game is to get whales to capitulate, it seems to be more effective way to do it is not to pump the chart, but to actually let it dump. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know his motive for putting that money in. If he was testing the waters, if it was some 4D kind of move to try and shake out whales. But yeah, I just wanted to hear your guys' opinion on it.
Yeah, and also I think it does, like, maybe he thought, oh God, that's all you're gonna put, that's all you're gonna buy is that's it, and kind of maybe like frustrate people, like that frustrate the people that thought that all that funds were just gonna start getting dumped in here, yeah, it can mean a lot of things, dude. But I know that man is smarter than me, dude. So it's like he's so
Yeah,
far.
but then in hindsight, it makes sense because we know that the price dumped, right? But like, okay, so let's say he puts that money in, and I'll give you a good example. So just before he put that money in, I think it was Funding Jim who he bridged out like $2 million or something, like maybe $1 million, like a huge part of his Pulsechain bag. He dumped it, right? But once he saw Richard pumping the chart, he put it all back in again, like a day later or something. So in an alternate reality, what if when Richard started buying up the charts, it actually started this whole bull market and it never did crash? So if his mission was to shake out whales, and let's say all he did was put the charts 5x higher and like new all-time highs maybe, then he's in if that was his mission, because now the whales are 5x stronger. So I'm not sure I don't know, man. I don't think that was his intention.
Yeah, I lean more towards it was just a promissory, dude. That's all I kind of got out of that.
I thought it would move more.
What was that again? I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
No, I just observed that when ETH made that big move, was it yesterday, on the ETF speculation, I really thought that Pulse would move more than it did. Like maybe not close the candles higher, but at least wick or do something. But the whole move was very, very subdued. Just observation.
Well, also
Yeah,
when
yeah.
BTC
Oh, go
pumps,
ahead.
right?
Go ahead.
When BTC pumps, doesn't it drain like everything pretty much, and everybody
Yeah, that's
piles
true.
into
Oh, go ahead.
BTC?
That's
Marshall.
true. That's true. There might have been some FOMOing into ETH from other stuff. Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, I kind
Well, we also had this whale dumping, so I don't know how much he dumped yesterday, but I think that helped suppress the price.
Yeah, I think that definitely had to play a role with that well that's been dumping every day. What were you gonna say, Omasho, before I cut you off?
No, I finished.
Oh, okay. But yeah, the price is definitely being suppressed. I mean, I think there's just really no other way to look at it. I really thought it would move more, and it probably would have if the price wasn't being suppressed. But it's interesting because the PLS price, RH products seem to be decorrelated from the broader market as a whole, and I think we've seen that quite a lot as well. Whether that's being orchestrated or what, I don't know, but yeah, I definitely think there's some decorrelation going on.
They are a bit, yeah. Hex was very interesting when it was young. It was really not following the markets at all, and for some reason, like Hex tended to sort of foreshadow what was going to come with the other charts
It'll be
beforehand. I don't know
interesting
if
to
there was
see after this big whale, when he's I think he said he had about 100 billion maybe left, or maybe it was less than that. Once he's out, in the next week or so, uh, how things move in response to the ETF approval, the approval actually comes, if it's not delayed. I mean, because PLS has
You know
really
what the
kind
problem
of
is
leverage on
with the
Ethereum,
whales? I'll
so
I'll,
I
t-
think that'll
I'll
be
tell you right
interesting
now the
to
problems
watch
with the
that
whales. I'll
dynamic.
tell you right now my opinion on what's holding the price down. I don't think it's a conscious effort by any central party or anything. I think it's just the dynamics of how the sacrifice went. If you think about it, so Hex was kind of a grassroots movement, right? It started very small. and it grew and grew and grew. But the people who sacrificed for this stuff, like the big bucks, right? Like the huge USDC, ETH sacrificers, those guys, I think a large chunk of them were very, very late into the Richard Hart ecosystem. Maybe even haters of Richard Hart. Like they saw what the chart was doing. They saw, okay, this guy is actually going to be a big thing in crypto. Like they're growing like hell. I don't like them. I will not talk about them. I will not shield them, but I want a piece of this action. And so these guys who went in with like 200K clips up to maybe 20 million clips or something in the sacrifice, they are the least, like they're not attached to the community at all. So when they see the pulse chain is not really doing anything, they just kind of want an exit. So those are the guys who actually need to be rinsed out. And so I think that's what's suppressing the price, really. I don't think it's a organized effort or anything. It's just that it's the non-believers in Richard Hart's sacrifice that unfortunately went in with the biggest clips. But in the end, it's these non-believers who went in with huge clips who need to be rinsed out. Like, I'll give an example. I know that Carl the Moon, who is a Richard Hart hater, he went in with, I think it was 450K or something. So obviously he never even, I don't think he even mentioned Richard on Twitter before, but he went in with this clip size, right? So he is kind of an archetype of the person that needs to be rinsed out before we can go higher, because those guys were never believers in the first place. They just thought they could do a good flip.
You know, he's already getting more and more followers every single day, and he's already mentioned a possible centralized exchange listing. I've heard that comment come up, so it'll be interesting, man, to see if it'll be interesting to see what happens with that bro token. You know, I think a lot of people are just using it just to dump, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with that thing.
I have a theory that people are still having a hard time getting into Pulsechain. I think he needs that educational gap because that token should have taken off.
Well, you've got all those emissions coming out, and people are dumping it for BBC. I think once the BBC once the staking and earning bro, once that's finished, those emissions are finished. I think maybe we might see some sharp movement. Right?
I totally agree. I 100% agree with that. As soon as that staking is done, dude, that thing is going to probably rip.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I'm still holding mine. I just put it away.
And it sure seems like every time SolidX moves, that bro token, goes flying. You're gonna gain more tokens of the one that performs the least, though.
No, you're going to actually physically gain more tokens. Mathematically, it'd be the same way that you would get them from fees. Like, you will actually have more tokens. They're just not from fees.
So where are they coming from? If I go in there with, hypothetically 1,000 pulse and 1,000,
Never in liquidity, and you put them in liquidity. That's where they are.
so if somebody comes and adds liquidity, I'm gaining some of their position.
No, if someone takes tokens that were never bought out of a liquidity pool and sells them into a liquidity pool, they're now in play. If you start a pool with 100 pulse and 100 pulse X, and that's it, and people trade for a year on it with trillions of pulse, there's going to be more than 100 in there.
See, but that's what I thought V1 didn't do. I thought that V1 you don't actually get more tokens.
No fees, though.
Are you talking about like price impact or something, or where does that come from?
If you give up your tokens because you want to get rid of a lot at once, those tokens are still in a pool.
Interesting. I didn't. Yeah, it was bad. That was because I thought that's what everybody was about. Is that you weren't getting more tokens. All you were getting is the ink as rewards. That's
time and time again is the dollar signs mean nothing. It's all about token counts. And all anyone ever did was say, oh, I put $1,000 in the farm. And then they look at it and it's worth $500. And they're like, well, what the? But don't do the actual token counts. And even if they did, they don't know how to figure out the new ratio to find what the original ratio is to see how many more free tokens are actually in there. I'm telling you, that V1 pool is probably the most powerful pool in all of crypto. Like, I don't know that there's a farm that pays out better and has more liquidity backing it.
so. Where is the other? Is it just price impact where those extra tokens come into play, or do they come into play in something else?
On that pair, well, yeah, because you can mint and burn them for wrapped ETH, so that'll end up playing a role too. But yeah, I mean, so far there's like, and this isn't every token, but there's 5 different ways, 4 outside of just LP fees, that an LP can actually earn tokens. But that's deep into the tensor.
Are you basically saying because of arbitrage?
No, arbitrage would just be LP fees, and that's the one that everyone knows.
Educate us. What would be another way that those tokens would come into existence? You were saying like the wrapped ETH or something. How does that play into this pool at all?
I mean, do you understand what I just told you? Like, I just tried to educate you. Do you understand what I was saying?
I heard you, but that's why I'm asking. Where you said there was 5 different ways. What is another one of those ways?
Well, so what you saw with the LUSD, right? LUSD was forever mintable, so you can buy it up to the price where it's profitable to mint it and sell it. But if it's below that price, then people will buy it because it's below mint price. So LUSD was a stable coin that came over here and became a stable coin, right? It's stable to the price of gas. Now they changed the oracle, so it doesn't work anymore. So now the only coin I know that's like this is MV. 414 is MV because you can mint it, buy it up to the mint price, but when it gets minted, it automatically, there's bots on it already. They just mint and sell for pennies. So if you're in that LP, you're catching all of those tokens that get minted and sold into that LP, right? So that's the way we were just talking about. Now in this particular situation, because you have a mint going on and you're not actually pegged to something, like everyone has their stable coin pegged to $1, right? This isn't pegged to anything except for the price of gas. It's stable to gas. So when our gas on this network is $1, you'll see MV is 100x from here because our average price is a penny right now, because that's what it'll cost for them to mint more of it, dump the price to where it's not worth it to mint it.
You can mint more Pulsex or more Pulse.
Well, the Pulse you can wrap and unwrap with wrapped ETH, which would just mint more of the wrapped copy, I believe, because you can't mess with the actual PLS supply. Everything we do is wrapped, right? All smart contracts are wrapped, which is interesting. Just the way the chain works, that our main liquidity, I guess that'd be normal. Your main liquidity would be in wrapped pairs. Makes sense.
It's only wrapped on the layer 1 though, right? Not on like Pulsec, is it? Right.
Well, if you understand what wrapped means, right? Basically what it is like there's Pulse, the actual token, and then there's wrapped Pulse. And what it is they won't actually let you take your dollar bill into the casino, right? You have to go into the casino and get chips to play the games. They won't actually let you play with the money. So it's a wrapped version. That's why on your swap, when you wrap and unwrap, there's no slippage. It's because it's taking this one token and it's just holding it over here and giving you a copy that you can go play with. It's not actual Pulse, it's wrapped Pulse.
Yeah, like taking a bridge over. Gotcha.
Right. And since we started with no liquidity, and our liquidity came from a bridged in already wrapped copy on top of wrapped Ethereum, I guess that's how all chains are. I've never really tried to think of it. Like, I don't know what Ethereum's main liquidity pool is. I thought originally it was like Bitcoin, and that wouldn't be wrapped. It has to be just somewhere else. I don't know how that works.
But somehow by wrapping and unwrapping Ethereum, it's going to give you more tokens as an LP provider for providing liquidity in the Pulse and Pulsex pool?
Well, so if you start minting and dumping tokens, it pushes them into the pool. It pushes their power out. It spreads the other ones around. Or if you start burning them, it starts sucking them in. And since I know I can mint wrapped ETH. I haven't tried to do it the other way around to burn it to get the Pulse back, though. I've only burnt the Pulse to mint the wrapped ETH.
The wrap and unwrap function works whether you're working with the wrapped ETH, the copied wrapped ETH, or Pulse. Like, because the contracts are the same, it recognizes them as the same. So you could take the wrapped ETH and unwrap it to Pulse or the
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone the other way. I've taken Pulse and gone to wrapped ETH.
Does it work on Pulsex also? Or only on the Uniswap?
Yeah, it's just on the Uniswap.
Okay.
Or somebody, he was saying something about the system was in recovery mode now. And I guess some guy got all his PLS Pulse trapped in there, and he can't get it out or something. Did you hear about that?
So it's open, and it's a fork of Liquid Loans, right? So if you've used Liquid Loans, you kind of maybe are familiar a little bit. But to take a collateralized loan, there's a minimum. I think their minimum is $1,800. So to take the collateralized loan for what it thinks is 1,800 LUSD, it's literally 1,800 tokens. So it costs I think it costs them $50 million to take the loan, right? And it's in recovery mode, and it won't let you escape in recovery mode. So like, yeah, his shit's locked up.
Oh fuck.
Well, I mean, he obviously knew going into it was a an option, but he's also trying to do other things, right? And had the other things worked, and they may still one day, right? It's just when you're in recovery mode, the contract won't allow like redemptions and shit like that.
Yeah, I think what's funny / good is that they're both working to aggressively burn LUSD. So in essence, they're burning it twice as hard, and then you're also major contributor to the burning effort. So it's like maybe the fractured or splintered group may be good in the beginning to, they're like, oh, no, I'm going to burn better. No, I'm going to burn better.
That's the only reason I did both those tokens was because they all were sitting there talking about it for 2 days.